Hey, this is Matt with PriceActionTradingSystem.com. This is Tuesday, November the 27th. This will be our chart lesson for today. And it started out really similar to what we had yesterday. We kind of opened in this trading range here. So, you were really trading a range from the very start. But we finally broke lower here below this double bottom across here. And then we rallied back up to the top of the range, and then it was downhill the rest of the day, and we really kind of had this trading channel down through here. So if you found this, if you drew your trend line off those first couple of swings, you likely would have found this setup. But let's talk about the trades. But really, that's what I was looking at till late afternoon, was a trading range here with a failed break lower and then a rally up. And then really from that point on, we were in this trend on the way down, and we came back down. We tested these lows, but as the day went on, you really could have removed this, but I'll put it in there for now so it makes it a little easier to see. You can kind of see what we were looking at across there. The first trade, the market opened right in here in this, along this real strong, you can see it's kind of support. We broke lower, turned up, and you might have been tempted to go long there because of that trap, and you really could have. It was okay to go long there, but generally, when you've been trending down all this time, you're better off to wait on a second entry. Let me back out. That's probably a little hard to see there. I don't know what I'm thinking here. But you can see we ticked lower and we turned up, but we got all those overlapping bars, and that's just not a really good entry. You'd rather be better off to wait on a second entry. So when we came back down and bounced again, and we closed almost on the high, and you see how the closes are getting higher, the stems are getting longer. Once we got that point, then it was safe to enter right there, and you could have ridden this all the way to the top. Okay, had a little interruption there. I believe I was talking about this trade, but it was better off to wait on the second entry here. You can go long, even if you went long here, as long as you kept your stop below the signal bar, it was okay. And that was a trap right there on the double bottom, so it was worth considering. But with all those overlapping bars, it just really, if we'd have broke above this bar after breaking lower first, I would have liked it better. But I really like this setup right here. Any runners would have been safe. You could have ridden this all the way to the top, and exited somewhere up here. Nice, easy trade with runners. Then you had this, you got a first entry right here, but that's a really bullish move. Even though it's a double top, a broader double top, it's, and it did close on its low. That meets our criteria. You could have taken that, but you're always better to wait on a second entry. And you really didn't get that chance to right here, but you can see how bearish that bar is. And again, you got all the overlap again, but when you get when you got this much stem up here and it's a double top, you've already got it's strong resistance, and we come right off of it again, and then you get this bearish looking bar like that. And it's looking like a range day. You just about got to take that. And again, any runners were easily safe, and you could have ridden this all the way down to here or exited right in here somewhere when it tried to bounce. And again, those were two nice trades right out of the gate, two easy trades that anybody should be able to spot. And then there really weren't any good entries down through here. There was a breakout pullback short right here, but there's just not a very good setup. If you'd have went short below that bar, it would have worked, but it was just risky. And then the first chance you had to enter, let me tighten that, was this bar right here. And notice that you got all this overlap. We already got kind of a break below. We know it's going to snap back probably. We don't know that it's going all the way up here, but we figure it's probably going to snap back. And I felt like that trade was worth taking right there. And it was good for a scalp, nothing more. It pulled right back again. As long as you kept your stop down here, you could have ridden this on out. But once you scalped out, you're better off to go ahead and take your money. But actually, this trade right here, actually it didn't quite get its fifth tick. You may not have gotten out here. It bounced off this so many times, I actually got out and I moved my stop to break even. So I got stopped out on this. If you did hold on, or if you didn't get out on your limit order here and it came back, as long as you kept your stop below the signal bar, you're probably okay. But after a big move down like that, if I hadn't got out, I probably would have exited all this overlap. But then you got another excellent chance to enter right here. And notice this, you got one leg down, pull back. So that's a second entry short. It's really two legs back, one leg back, first entry, second entry. You kind of got this little trap down here. Look at all those matching lows down here with that one tick below, and then we tested that twice and turned up. That's a great place to go long, figuring we're at least coming back to here, and we may get back in the range and go all the way to the top, and that's exactly what happened. Depending on how you traded this, your runners should have been okay on this one, but with it bouncing and pulling back here, you might have tightened your stop and gotten stopped out. But if you kept your stop at break even until we got back above here, then you were probably okay. And there was you actually could have gone long here, because notice what happened. We got back above the support. It never really acted as strong resistance, and it acted as support again and turned up. But there's just so many overlapping bars. I didn't like that trade at all. It did take off right there. Would have worked well. I almost thought at this point, this is where I noticed the trend coming down through here. I actually drew this, but I didn't think it was very, at this point, I didn't think it was very, it was really coming into play. But when we turn right off of it again, you had to consider it. And then if you copy that line and drug it down here, you can see it did turn out to indeed be a kind of a trending down channel. Let me back out of that, because I don't know if I discussed that at the opening. And you can see there's definitely a channel right there. We're coming off the high side, and then we're coming off the low side all down through here. So it's definitely there. It's definitely something you need to pay attention to. But I was really locked in on this trading range today, and that got you where you needed to be. But once you got down here, again, you're getting failed breaks, and they're new lows, and you can almost always, anytime you get a new high or a new low on a trading range day, you can fade them, and they're generally pretty good trades, and that would have been the case all day long. But if you found the channel here, which is definitely there, it's really just kind of a trading range like this. It's just got a very weak downtrend to it, so that's the way I would describe that. So anyway, we came back to the top. We made a new high up here. We broke higher by single tick. You can see that right across there, and turned down, closed on the low. That's a short right there. Excuse me. That's a short right there, and easy scalp. Came back and got the runners though, but that was a second entry short, so you could have re-entered right here. It was, you could have re-entered actually right below that bar, but it's you're always better to wait on a bearish bar. But by the time that happened, you had to enter way down here, and that's not necessarily where you want to be entering. So this one I turned green. If you didn't enter below that green bar, I wouldn't have recommended entering this one. But if you entered on either one of them, as long as you kept your stop above the signal bar, which is that bar right there or that bar right there, you survived this easily. You didn't get a runner if you entered below this one. If you entered below this one, it pulled back before you scalped out. But you still didn't get a runner. They came back real quickly and got them. But you should have drawn this trend line right here, because again, I wasn't really sure yet if we had this channel here. You had this line, but you weren't sure if this was going to be come into play down here at this point. So you need to be drawing a trend line. You don't always draw these trend lines just to see if they come into place. You couldn't have got it till you had this swing in place, but that led you to find this marker. But even if you didn't have that trend line, or if you had this one, you can see we weren't closing above that. Look at those stems, and look at that bearish bar right there. That's a good sign that we're headed lower. And I actually took the short right here, to be honest, because of those two long stems, but it was a little bit aggressive right there. You needed to, because we could have just ticked lower and got stuck right in there with those overlapping bars, but when this thing turned down like this, you know, you can't hardly ignore a bar like that coming off a suspected trend line or even a new high, and it was off to the races again. It was down. Any runners were safe on this one. Actually, if you entered here, I don't know if it was safe. Let me just verify that before I tell you that. You would have entered. Yep, you just barely survived that by one tick, and you could have ridden this all the way down. You should have been thinking maybe exit around these lows over here, because a new low is generally going to be, you're going to be able to fade that. But notice all these overlapping bars here. It's a pretty good move down. There's no real setup. This bar might have been a good setup. Let me get that out of the way right here. But notice it never ticked above it till you formed another one, and then it's really getting risky. And you see what happened. It ticked up there and it snapped right back. And you know, you might have even thought about going short there, thinking we'll retest these lows at a minimum. And you should have had this, you know, if you found this upper trend line, you should have cloned it and drug it down just to see what would happen. And of course, we bounced right off of it. So I've got that marked as a long. And the only reason you could have gone long above this bearish bar is because we ticked one tick lower, kissed the trend channel line, and turned up. So, you know, if it breaks above that on the same bar, you can go long right there. And it took it a few minutes, but it got on out of there. It was good for a scalp. You might have got a little more out of it on your runner if you tried that, you know, if you held a runner or whatever, but you didn't get much out of it if you didn't. I mean, if you did take one. So, and then of course now this trend line has kind of been confirmed here, and notice that bar again, and I marked that one. Again, that's not a great setup bar, but the fact that you got this, you know, kind of double top matching highs, and you broke higher, and you kind of trapped everybody, and you closed, it really made it worth going short right here. And you can see what happened, and it's a second entry short too. So again, what you really should have done was when it broke above this bar, this doji, and turned down, if it continued on in the same bar, you could have gone short right there, and that's what happened. So you could have gotten short right there, but either way, you had to ride this out. And when it went into all this overlap, you know, I always say it's probably best to just go ahead and exit, take a tick or two and exit, or get out at break even or whatever, because it's almost not worth, you know, hanging around because we could make another leg up. So, but if you did enter right there and you kept your stop above the signal bar, you can see right there, you would have survived, and you could have ridden this all the way back down again, a little further, and your runners would have been good. So it just depends on how you saw that and how you traded it. But I just saw a lot of, I probably should have even made this one green. I didn't take this trade. I was done by now, but you see all this overlap right in here. And, you know, that should have been a clue. Just not a great setup. And like I said, I'm going to change that to green, because I doubt I would have taken that trade. When we made this next attempt to go higher and turn down, yeah, maybe go short there. But that's a different story, because now you got a second entry short after a failed break higher to trend line. Notice how everything's closing, double top. A lot more reasons to take it here than there are here. So, and that was really it. It's really getting late in the day. You notice that's after 2 o'clock my time. So anything after that, that's really late. And that was really it for the day. And it was a similar day as yesterday, because yesterday we were in this trading range. We had a failed break lower, and then we traded higher. The only difference was we kept going higher yesterday, where today we couldn't go any higher and we sold off again. So, and that's what the market does. It's constantly searching out and testing support and resistance, and when it finds it, it either holds and reverses and starts looking in the other direction, and it'll keep going till it finds support and can't go any lower, and then it'll start looking, going back, and so that's what we're doing. We're always want to be interested in strong resistance areas, which are across here and down this trend line. And then we want to be interested in strong support areas here and down across this line. And that was the only reason, you know, and this trade right here is a new low for the day. This one was a new low, and that one was a new low that set up pretty good too. This one could have fooled you right here, hopefully not. When you're trading down that strong and you don't have some kind of reversal bar or something, you don't want to really be thinking about going long. So it was kind of an interesting day. Like I said, very similar to yesterday, except for the fact that when we came back up and tested this resistance area again, like right across here, we kept going higher, where today we couldn't go any higher, and so we come back down and start testing the low sides. And again, that's what prices do, and that's what we want to do is follow them as they're headed towards the next support or resistance area and testing it. So it's really the market's just seeking out and testing support and resistance, and it either finds support or it finds resistance or it keeps going. So if we're trending down, if we don't find support, we just keep going until we do. And, you know, learning how to read those reversals, and you know, you're looking for reversal patterns. Those are the best things. Double bottoms, reverse to the long side. Double tops, reverse to the low side. Again, look at this. Double bottom reverses to the high side. You get up here, a broader double top and a narrow double top leads to a reversal. And you're coming down, and you know, and you kind of get a reversal here. So, you know, you could have even thought about riding that up, and it would have been good for a scalp, nothing more. Then you come on down, then you kind of get a double bottom, a failed break lower, and look what happens. It goes higher. Then you get a double top, triple top, and then it goes lower. So watch for the reversal patterns. A lot of times that's what will help people when I kind of point that out to them. So just something to look at. But I'm going to wrap it up. I'm having some voice troubles. We sat out the ball game Saturday night in the cold weather half the night, and woke up the next morning, and I'm having throat troubles again. So if you notice that I've sounded a little, my throat sounds a little scratchy the last couple of days, that's why. And not feeling bad or anything, just got a scratchy, kind of gravelly voice from sitting out in the cold and screaming all night during the ball game. So, but anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Hope you had a good trading day. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.